The NSA is shredding the Fourth Amendment. That's what we'll talk about today. The New York Times wrote a story over this past weekend that really explains how dramatically the FISA court has expanded the envelope of what the NSA is permitted to do. It's breathtaking, and it really amounts to a total repeal of the Fourth Amendment. Not only are they allowed to operate and intercept calls and stuff for terrorism, they're also allowed to do it in the name of cybersecurity, espionage, which probably includes industrial espionage, nuclear proliferation, and weapons of mass destruction. A vast expansion of their mandate. And these fields, normally you might grant waivers in these areas, but these are waivers in which there is no adversary proceeding, there's nobody defending civil liberties, and there's no appeal, there's no written opinion, and it's made in camera by this FISA court. To give you a feel for this FISA court, last month there were 1,800 applications for surveillance to the FISA court. 1,800 were accepted and none were rejected. So that's the guardian of our civil liberties standing there. No rejections at all. The other thing that's really disturbing about it is that the FISA court has held that this metadata concept, which is that we don't actually listen in on phone calls, but we keep track of everybody who calls everybody and where they are and where the other person is and who they called subsequently and who the other guy called subsequently. And we keep track of this vast pool of data. And what the court has held is that collecting that pool of data on everybody is not a constitutional violation. They've held that this is like amassing an ocean of data. And before you can take a fishing rod and drop a line in it to fish a specific piece of data out, like to listen to one of those conversations, then you need to go to the FISA court and go through this rigorous review process in which nothing's ever turned down. But the concept that the metadata by itself is not an intrusion in privacy in a unlawful search and seizure is itself ridiculous. Most intelligence experts tell you that they don't need to hear what goes on in a phone conversation. They just need to know that it took place. They just need to know that A calls B a lot. If I call my wine store frequently, the implication is that I drink. and those kinds of radical leaps of logic dominate the analysis of metadata. And it tells you far more about people than anything else, and including incredibly intrusive information. Now, it's a very short leap from these law enforcement purposes I spelled out to others, like taxes and drugs and various law enforcement issues, FBI investigations into breaking the criminal law, stuff that really should not be subject to this expedited review and should not circumvent the Fourth Amendment. But it's easy to see on the slippery slope that the FISA court is moving in that direction. And anyway, they were only granted these powers for the limited concept of terrorism. After 9/11, we decided we were at war with a group of people we called terrorists, and we needed specific information to go after them. Now, we may be equally concerned about North Korean and Iranian intentions, but let's have a separate act of Congress. Let's have a separate authorization. Let's have a national debate on this. Maybe we are that concerned about cybersecurity, but it wasn't in the original bill. Let's have a discussion about this. Before we carve out these exceptions to the Fourth Amendment that can really just ride roughshod over our civil liberties, let's A, be told about it, which we haven't been, and B, be permitted to weigh in with comments, which we certainly haven't been. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you're having a nice day. If you want to hear more about this field, we'll be talking about it today on my radio show, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT in the Philadelphia region. And outside of the Philadelphia region, just tune in on the internet on dickmorris.com and you can follow it up. And give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. Love to chat with you. Thanks a lot.